Our last story is a critique of the conventional wisdom provided at Comic Con panels. The publisher of an independent company called Summit Comics points out that many panels about breaking into comics offer two common pieces of advice. First, start small, and second, avoid making superhero comics. He then goes on to relay the story about how the first issue of his company's long term superhero connected universe crushed its funding goal on Kickstarter, and he concludes by encouraging creators to reject conventional wisdom and tell the long term superhero stories they want to tell. Now, this story is particularly relevant to me because I'm one of the people on convention panels who say start small and avoid superheroes. I'm going to be on a panel at Emerald City next week, and I plan to say the exact same thing. I'm glad Summit Comics is off to a good start. I'm also aware that superhero IP like Spawn, Invincible, Terminal, Black, and of course, Watchmen defy conventional wisdom. I have clients whose main goal is creating a long term connected superhero universe, but none of that changes the advice. The reason people like me tell creators to start small is because if you are just starting out on any creative project or business, it is easy to be overwhelmed and discouraged if you get out over your skis. You try to be complicated before you master the fundamentals. You try to make a big splash before you've established your unique voice. In the same way, you wouldn't fight Mike Tyson in your first boxing match or try to sell more stuff than Amazon in the first year of your online business. It doesn't make sense to plan your 100th issue if you haven't written issue 2 yet. And the reason people like me suggest avoiding superheroes isn't because we don't like superheroes. I mean, look around you. I like superheroes. It's because comics are more than superheroes. In the last show, we talked about how Seduction of the Innocent erased popular comic book genres to the point where Americans only associated comics with superheroes, something that does not occur in other countries. Today, that sentiment is slowly changing. There are more potential readers of comics in dozens of other genres outside of superheroes. There is less market saturation in other genres besides superheroes. There is less brand recognition of IP in other genres besides superheroes. If you want your comic to stand out without bleeding into the pages like we talked about in the last story, it is simply statistically easier to do that in genres outside of comics. Using a single crowdfunding campaign to refute the idea of starting small outside of superheroes is an anecdotal fallacy. Pointing to successful examples of independent comics only reinforce the rule. If you're talking about people like McFarlane or Kirkman or Moore, all of them had success with independent superhero comics after they broke into comics, not before. So if you want to break into comics with an ongoing superhero story, that's fine. Just understand what you're getting into and what you're up against before you start on that journey.